says, after that something new emerges, which he called second tier or integral consciousness. And one of the characteristics of first tier consciousness is that each level thinks that they are right and everybody else is wrong. Okay, so here you have your culture wars. So for example, if you had a green person, an orange person, and a blue person, not to mention a red, let's just leave them out to simplify things, sitting in a room and talking, pretty soon they would all be hating each other. Okay, the blue fundamentalist mythic level membership person would think that, you know, this achiever level, you know, capitalist successful entrepreneurial orange was a mammon loving materialist and doomed to hell for sure. And this green person is a tree hugging reprobate, some sort of pagan influence, going to hell too. And the green, of course, would think this is just a Bible-thumping fundamentalist whack job, and this is a greedy capitalist who's wrecking my planet. And the orange would think, well, this is a Bible-thumping nutcase, and this is just a tree-hugging hippie that has no brains, you know, and is all emotion. So anyway, there's tons of conflict here. And you can tell if you're in a green meeting if all you talk about is feelings. And greens don't get a lot done, but they express feelings a lot because the mind is the enemy. And if somebody would get up like I'm doing, teaching something, who apparently has quite a bit of knowledge or mastery of this subject, you know, well, he's saying he knows more than us. And there's this desire for equality, you know, so it's kind of that whole thing kind of creates some problems. So once you've hung out in green for a while, you begin to see all of these very high. It has the high moral development to understand and see the problems, but it doesn't have the wisdom or the skillfulness to actually combat them because it's at war with these lower levels of the development. So at the integral level, the realization, one of the realizations is the verticality of the spiral of human development. And we realize that all of us are born at beige. Nobody's born in green. And so if you want to treat your poor little kid to, you know, make him be Gandhi when he's 3 years old, it's not going to work. He needs to start, you know, learning how to be a healthy red. So you realize that you're born here and that you achieve as high as you can. And people are also invited to stay whatever level they want to stay. That's a human right. You don't have to move beyond blue if you don't want. But it has to be controlled. In other words, the U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights was a very orange development, and it controlled these lower levels of development. Like, you could believe in Jesus at blue as your Lord and Savior and the only one, but you don't get to burn the other guy at the stake because he doesn't believe it. That was, you can believe whatever you want to believe in the privacy of your own heart and in your own home, but if you try to take away or persecute people who don't believe, healthy orange will control that. So, so you begin to see this as all part of development, and if you have the grace or the fortune to make it up to second tier, you realize that you've gone through all these stages. Okay, and in healthy developmental growth, we say that a person transcends when he moves to the next stage, or she moves to the next stage, but includes the level that went before. But often it seems at first tier a lot is left behind. In other words, when people move from blue to orange, often some of the goodness, the saintliness, the caring, the compassion, the humility of blue is left behind. It becomes more of just a self-centered a success story that you're trying to achieve. And you know, those who are left behind, so be it. So at the second level, second tier development, you begin to be able to go back and re-inhabit and bring forward all of the goodness of these different levels and leave behind the negatives. In other words, you could bring forward the baby and leave the bathwater behind. For example, if you're in a city someplace and you're in an alley and you're accosted by 4 red level thugs, you might want to ask them for an I feel statement, or how are they feeling, or are you feeling angry? Did this have something to do with how you were brought up? They'll probably slit your throat and steal from you. So it might be really good to be a very kind of warrior, strong, red person at that moment to inhabit, to either take these guys on or get the hell out of there. in a very survival-oriented, powerful way. And then you can go back and do the psychological work later. There's great humility and goodness and saintliness and devotional goodness toward God, toward divinity that's found in blue. That's really good and really healthy. There's obviously orange has lots of good stuff. It's skillfulness, it's inventiveness, it's a way to look at problems and find ways to get out of problems, to use science, to use knowledge to achieve really good things that can be brought forward at a second tier level that's really been rejected at a large by a lot of green. And of course, some developmental theorists have said that it's actually green that makes you worthy of second tier development, because you bring forward the deep compassion and caring of green to these higher levels of development, but at the same time you get to do all this other stuff. So at these levels of development, the first level is called a yellow, and the task of yellow, it's almost is to go back down and act as in a pastoral relationship, if you will, or with a repair kit, to go back down the spiral and try to help each level to be as healthy as it possibly can be. So you begin to, in other words, so remember our mix of the blue, the orange, and the green person room, they all start to hate each other. Well, if there's a second tier person there, say I'm the second tier person in this scenario, after they all get sick of each other, they go, you know, but John was okay. And they would all say that because I could language to them and speak to them on their level, and it's not manipulation, but it's being compassionate. Okay, and let's use, for example, the one that I like to use, the environmentalism. Okay, at Green, and we really care about this a lot, desperately care about it. But if you try to language your care about the environment in green speak to red or blue or even orange, you get projectile vomiting. They can't hear it. It disgusts them. First of all, you could take all the accumulated scientific data as far as depletion of the soil, the ozone, climate change, etc., 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 poison in the water, air, all this stuff, and you present it to a blue. This is pre-rational. They can't hear your scientific data. They don't hear it. And you're like, blue in the face, you've got these dummies. But if you language it in a language they can hear, like it says in Isaiah 26 chapter whatever, verse whatever, that, you know, he who despoils the creation is disrespecting the Creator. And brothers and sisters, we need to, I mean, look at the world around us. This is the creation that God has given us responsibility for. We have inherited responsibility to be responsible stewards of this. So we need to pray and get together and do a better job. And you'll have all these people holding hands and praying and doing a better job, because you're speaking to them in a language they can hear. And that will get results. If you're talking to Orange about environmentalism, you need to talk in language Orange can hear. You can say, look, the numbers say this, that 70% of the population, now I'm kind of making these figures up, but I think they reflect somewhat accurately, believe that we're in an environmental crisis. So if you create a product that is sustainable and seen as sustainable, you're going to capture X amount of the market in the short term, and this is what it's going to unfold like in the next few years. And they'll go, show me the numbers. You got them. Okay, and at Green you go, trees are people too. And you got them. And yeah, you're preaching to the choir at that point. So that is one way of using this kind of knowledge to reach people and engage people where they're at. And I was listening to Obama talk to Bill O'Reilly on Fox. I saw a little, I think I saw it on YouTube, but Obama said, Bill, let's talk about what we agree about. And that was just a brilliant second tier way to approach. He kind of got blue in the face and argued with Bill, and Bill was actually, he was trying to find him, but he was actually charmed by it. You know, so, and I'm getting ready to go home and be with my family or go visit, do a family thing, and I know politically, if I repeat my whole thing before, and I'm just going to say, look, what do we agree about? We agree we love each other and we love our country. And that's probably as close as we're going to get right now, so why don't we hang out with that, you know and stay with that. And then one of my family, okay, we can live with that. So you learn to connect people. You learn to bring forth the strengths of the different levels, and you learn to facilitate the development to the higher levels of development to those who choose to be there. And of course you have to do that, you have to take care of survival needs. You have to have housing, you have to have food, you have to have health care, you have to have the things that make living a dignified life possible to facilitate. And also you have to have education and interior values and stuff. But you learn we're beginning to learn what to do.